Names. David Cronenberg.
Great, but very, he's his own particular guy. It was, and I'd ask him a few things and give him his space. There's that thing that's also for me with, whether it's Christopher Nolan or, like you're kind of in awe and there's an awness about it, and you work with certain actors and you're kind of, wow, you kind of, so you live in that world and you don't want to get in their face too much and you don't want to ask too much of them, but there's this, David didn't really, Cronenberg didn't really direct me. Christopher Nolan didn't really direct me, and there's an idea of that you come to it, and they're just setting the stage and allowing you to play, and you'll find, they're expecting you to find it. They're not exactly sure what they want either. They have an idea, and here's the scenario, and you're gonna get in there and kind of work it out for them. But it's a personal thing for how do I work, or is there an open communication? Is there an ability to take risks? Is there someone who's going to challenge you and be articulate in a way that you're going to understand it? Because, and it's individual, and you'll be working, for me, you work with lots of directors, of course you're not getting to choose them, you're getting, you're working for someone, and you're there to serve that person's idea, you're there to serve that movie, that show, that short film, whatever, you're there to, for me as an actor, I'm there to serve it.
Actually, all the big name actors that I've worked with are so prepared. And someone like Ben Kingsley, when I was working with him, 3 weeks before we shot, he said, "You can't change my lines. That's I make my lines work." And so
I prepare, but I just can't remember them.
He's pretty funny, actually.
I prepare a lot. I just can't remember them.
So Ben Kingsley gets his lines, and then that's it. They're set.
You'd learn if you were working with Ben, you'd be learning your lines, or Ellen, right?
Like
Ellen
Ben would be learning your lines.
Yeah. No, he likes to, and you know what? It's great because he's a Shakespearean actor, and so his feeling is, I work on that text and I get that text. So for him, you have to really respect that he's putting that much work into those lines. That and I would say to him sometimes, maybe we should drop the such and such. Do you think we really need that? And he would go, I'll make it work. So his thing was, and he would make the line work, even though I was thinking maybe the line is redundant or whatever from a writer place.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Cut it.
With him, it was like, oh yeah, this works. It's all good. But what's great about working with Callum, or this kind of mindset, which is a little bit more organic, is he also is really willing to work with the other actors, and so if the scene isn't working, you'll bounce it back and forth and maybe tweak the writing. And in fact, sometimes that's part of the process. And you have to be, as both a writer and director, you have to be available to the fact that they just rewrote your text and made it better.
And are you a million questions guy? Are you a guy who likes somebody to just, lay it out for him in the beginning and go?
I like louder, softer, faster, slower. If you're telling somebody, don't do that in the next scene, that's all you think about. Don't do what? That thing. Try these 9 things in the next scene. What? I can do 2 of them. Faster and louder. Other than, I personally get lost. And sometimes it's a word. And it's that thing of, depending upon who the director is, they may get me in a way that they know how to plug me in. They can just say a line to me and they could use their hand. Whatever, I'm just going to read. Good? Okay.
Louder.
I'll try it again. And I have to discover it. And they may not have an answer either. And that's, maybe you know more about that. You have 5 different actors coming to you with 5 different needs, worries, concerns, insecurities, values. And how do you juggle all of those?
Well, I think it comes down to, and this goes to the directors in the room. Who probably many of you are writers as well, give your actors something to do. So, and that's particularly true in your writing, because if they're not, if there's no conflict or nothing interesting about the character, then what is there to play?
Every time you work is like you do 100 shows. Every time I show up, I go, why am I anxious? Because there's never a guarantee of how it's going to go. You don't know. Oh, it's just this kind of show or this kind of director or these kind of actors. It's always, for me, like, okay, I'm at square one. And I got to listen, I have to be present, and I have to be willing to communicate to make this story work. And I'm serving the story. So the love-hate, and you're in it, and there'll always be a discomfort in it, because you're never, I just read this great old article of Maureen Stapleton. She was at 35 being interviewed in this old book, and her talking about having done all this work, and she said, every now and then, like every decade, I do a scene that I think I really nailed. And the rest of the time, it's just some other shit, right? It's just like...
But so decisions get made, for all the actors in the room, decisions get made that are sometimes completely illogical and have, frankly, very, very little to do with your craft. You can come in and nail it, and someone comes in and doesn't nail it, and they'll get the gig.
Mm-hmm.
But in the heyday of starting out, you're auditioning every week, 2 times a week, 3 times a week. And you get that thing going where you just go, this is that thing, and you're picking and figuring out what's going on with you, what's not working for you, what are you attempting to do within that material.
Mm-hmm.
And when it stops mattering is when it really starts to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, you're not trying to get it right, you're just trying to do your job.
Mm-hmm.
I have to audition a lot to get into it, where I don't care if I get the job, I'm there to do my thing. My thing's important to me. I get to do my own wardrobe, I get to do the catering on it. And I'm fucking gonna direct myself, and if someone directs me, I may or may not listen to them. But I'm doing it for me. I'm not doing it because I need anything. I've got a movie to go to at probably 2 o'clock, so you guys better fuck up. I mean it, and it has to be that, you get to do your craft in that time, and you're doing it the way you want. But as soon as you start, you know, how do I do it? What do you want? And you're trying to please somebody other than yourself. It becomes a mess.